Welcome to KIllco. My name is Brian. That's how they all start. And this is Whiskey Musings, or, an excuse for me to drink a lot of whiskey. That's another way to put it. Or just to hang out and chat. That's also what this is mostly about. Whiskey Musings has no definitive thing yet, but in, in this case, I happen to have a bunch of Maker's Mark around. Some donated by the epic JJ, who may or may not be here. We'll see. But I also had this one. I had two of these, actually. I did one for a video, and I did like it. I was like, oh, I like Maker's Mark, apparently. Surprise. So now we are going to compare that with Maker's 101, Maker's Mark 101, which I haven't even tried yet, and the Maker's Mark cast strings, which I've had before, but I don't know if all the bottles are different or not. We'll see. I wanted to make sure I said something about something here. I want to make sure I have these in the right order, basically. Maker's Mark 101 is 50.5%. And the cast strength is one that's a little higher, 54.9. So we have the Maker's, which is just in the plain old Glencairn. Then we have Maker's Mark 101. You're not a little late. Just started. Welcome to the one who donated some of these to me. Like this one here, Maker's Mark 101, and this one here, Maker's Mark cast strength, which I know I like, but it's been, I don't know how long since I had it. The 101 is going to go in my Drink More Bourbon glass because there will be whiskey later this evening. And a whiskey bulk glass will have the cast strength stuff in it. Now it's just a matter of pouring, which is always exciting. Part of me was like, I'll pour these early. No. It's been a hectic day as it is. This is the only one I'm actually going to pour all of because there's no reason to keep half of this little thing. And it's kind of going to be the control, I guess. How's it going? Welcome. Don't be sorry. I'm happy to have anyone here at any point in time. I'm going to do this no matter how many people are here, but it's very nice to have people here, I admit. But don't be sorry for being late. I mean, I was almost late. Sort of. I had a day, a very busy day for my liking. A lot of driving, which I don't like. I will show off what I had to go get, which was about an hour's drive from me, which sucked. But that means an hour's drive there, an hour drive back. Yay. It's actually sitting right here. So it's donated. Glen Scotia 15. Trying not to blind you all. Looking forward to trying that. I have never had it. It's been talked up a lot. And I found it not too far away for a decent price. So, yay. Capping the Maker's Mark. I'm not going to say much on the Maker's Mark because I already did a video about it. So if you want to watch that, I will say go there. And now I have to keep in mind when I actually said this. 4 minutes in, okay. I'll try to remember that. 101. I'm not pouring much of these because these are very high proof, and I have to get through the rest of the evening. In fact, I still have to make another video for tomorrow because the one horrible mistake I've made is just not batch shooting for making content every day, which has been madness. It's nice. It's nice to do it, but it's exhausting. I don't know how people with, regular jobs do it. As I mentioned before, in every video I do, I don't have a job. I wish I did have something, but I don't. Like many people right now, I think. Thankfully, there's plenty of whiskey to be had in a sensible and safe way. All right, now we have our glasses poured. And like I said, I only poured a little bit from each. Just enough. And the question is, do I want to just compare them straight off the bat? Do I want to just check the Whizzky app? Do I want to check Discord because someone sent me a message apparently? What is this? Oh. Okay. Someone's saying about the latest find, which has been good. What am I doing? Here we go. Maker's Mark. Comparison, I guess this is. Now, I already know I like the first one. Let's go with that. See if we get that instant cherry or not. Kinda. It's more medicinal this time, though. More alcohol forward, which is strange. But I like it. Still smells like Makers. The one problem I've been having is trying to pick out what a weeder smells like. Oh, man. Stanley Wang Jr., thank you for stopping by. You're always welcome here, as you well know. Have fun. That sounds like a time. But yeah, 21st birthday in 2020. Whoo! I had my 40th in 2020, and wow, that was a thing. Didn't do much. Let's say. I don't think anyone's done much for their birthdays this year. Ooh. Listen, happy birthday to your nephew. Nephew, did I read that right? Yes. Yep, Maker's Mark is a lovely bourbon. Goes without saying almost. An introduction to bourbon? Like, what would I suggest? Or a class? Or is Stanley going to introduce his nephew to bourbon? That would be fun. Going to the Maker's Mark 101. Well, unsurprisingly, it smells a lot like Maker's Mark, but it's a little higher proof. Duh. I don't know if I'm getting a cinnamon thing out of this. It's bizarre. Or am I just getting that usual baking spices thing that I say in every single video about bourbon? That's the one problem. It's like you have to have an advanced vocabulary just to talk about whiskeys, which I do not have. Well, I like the smell of this one, but I was told these should open up a little. So I'm trying not to take a sip out of them yet. Capping them, though, just because I don't want them to evaporate too much. And the cast strength. Ooh. Unsurprisingly, they all smell very similar with little nuances of differences, which I know I'm going to have a hard time picking out. I'm getting some cinnamon. I'm getting some... I thought I had chocolate for a second. Again, like I said, this is just an excuse for me to drink lots of whiskey. Lots of Makers all at once. And I'm pretty sure once I sip these other two at the end, the Makers 101 and the cast strength, it doesn't matter what they are because I'm not going to be able to taste them as well. Blech. Ooh. I still like the cast strength. I don't know what it is about it. It's just, it's good. It's a little more like, hi, I'm bourbon. The 101 smells sweeter now. What the heck? Back to the original. Ha! Inhaling too many fumes. And unsurprisingly, the Maker's Mark, the regular, smells the sweetest. It's freaking bourbon candy at this point. Lovely stuff. They all smell almost identical to me. Like if anyone poured me any of these and was like, hey, which one of these is Maker's? This, that, or the other thing, I'd have a hard time. I'd have a very hard time. But I like it. I mean, like I said, I like Makers. But the one thing that kind of bothers me about Makers is it's a weeder and it doesn't taste or smell like one to me. There's, where is it? I think I said on one of my streams, Larceny. That feels like a weeder to me. Ryan Target, welcome to the chaos. We are here to drink all the bourbons. And like I said, we have Maker's Mark 101, and Maker's Mark cast strength. Oh, Yeah, you're not going to have a you're not going to have a great experience when it's the end of a pub crawl. It's like, yay. That was the last thing I seem to remember. I don't know why. I was happy that I came back to Makers too. Oh, yeah. Baker 7 year. It sounds nice. Nice. All right, now I'm letting these all stay open for a bit. A minute, a moment. But what I want to do is just look up some words. Because again, I'm getting this really a sweetness and almost what I got cherry last time, but this time I seem to be having this Luden's cough drop kind of thing, like one of those cherry things. Are they called Luden's? I forget. The cherry cough drops that are basically candy. That's kind of what I'm getting, except it has more of this cough drop smell to it. It's not bad. I still like it. I used to eat those if for no reason at all. Like, I don't feel too good. My throat's a little scratchy. Luden's cough drop. You're an ambassador? What? That must be fun. Yeah, I'm getting into this too. That kind of cherry note. And that's the 101. I'll go into the cast strength. Cast strength, not so much. I would say I'm getting more wood notes out of this. Shouldn't be too surprising. But let's not dismiss the fact that the 101 and the cast strength have more of a alcohol forward smell, we'll call it, unsurprisingly. I'm just trying to ignore it. I know it's alcohol. What's scary is if I start thinking about other things I've had before, I don't know what it's called, but I start to think I can smell that in these. And right now, these are just sweet, lovely bourbons. And they still don't seem like weeded bourbons to me. If they do, it's very slight. Like, I know they are, but there are a few drops left in this. I must get it out. I have not tried the Maker's 46 yet. That's been on the list. It's been on the I want to try that list. I will at some point. But again, funds are limited. That's why I've been so happy to get all these samples lately. Although I did pick up that bottle recently, but that, as I said, was a donated bottle. Hallelujah. Let's start with the Makers. I also ate like less than an hour ago, so everything's going to be messed up in my head. It's nice. It's Makers. It's very sweet, funny enough. And there is some of that wood notes, certainly, but only at the end. And it's making my tongue tingle, which I like. A tongue tingler. That's no good. These other ones are going to kick me in the face then if I'm already getting a tingly sensation off just the 45%. 45? Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the things I like about it, is that while Maker's Mark is it's one of the well-known bourbons. It's pretty much behind many different bars, but it's also 45% rather than the minimum 40%, which feels like that's what everything is at if it's just trying to be something sold. I like the higher proofs. Let's go for Maker's Mark. I'm looking this up on the app. I didn't add a comma. It's going to be angry about that. Or maybe it isn't. I didn't do anything with that. What? Well, that's surprising. I'm going to look this stuff up on the app that I always use, and all it's showing me is Maker's Mark. And that's it. Oh, well, that'd be awesome when you do. You don't have to, but I always appreciate samples. They're glorious. The one problem is I'm starting to get so many sample things. I feel like I should do something with them, but I don't know what. I have a lot of empty sample bottles that I've cleaned out. I'll have to donate them to someone at some point. All right, Maker's Mark 101. My brain's being weird. I'm getting weird, like zests and stuff. Thinking of lemons and oranges. Out of the 101, that is. This is the cast strength. I don't know what to do now. I had this whole plan was about my Whizzky App thing, showing me what I need to know, but now it's just like, oh, Maker's Mark is this. And again, they're all the basic notes from the what I said last time when I did the video. Yeah, I really do need like a sheet of these because it's always vanilla, caramel, oak, spicy. That's all I got for the Maker's Mark, which is nothing. Still good, but simple, we'll say. Simple yet friendly. $50, what? Vanilla is one of the hard ones for me. Because I like vanilla. I get vanilla lattes and stuff. Or caramel lattes, especially. But I have a feeling I've been pelted by fictitious flavors over and over again. That my baseline is probably a little off, we'll say. Well, Maker's Mark, you've confused me already. Let's just type in Makers and see what happens. Now they're showing up. What the heck? Maker's Mark has strength. Why didn't that? Whatever. I'm not going to question it. Oh, wait. I want to do the 101 first if I can find it. I do want to get another bottle of cast strength sometime because that was really good. All I had to do was go and just type in Makers instead of Maker's Mark, and it there's a long list. And I'm just having trouble finding the 101 if that's on here. There it is. Maker's Mark 101. Let's see what the words are. Oh, really? Strange start. Did I say cinnamon? I thought that was my imagination, but it's certainly in here, and it's already telling me about it. It just has 3 syrup, vanilla, and cinnamon on the nose. On the nose. And fancy. Whoa, that's a high proof. That'd be awesome. I've had a Jack Daniel's single barrel of some sort. I have the fancy bottle, or I had it. I don't know if I kept it, but I did have a Jack Daniel's single barrel thing, which I did a review of. I don't remember what it is. Hold on. Whoa, that shouldn't be there. And I did it. Oh God, when did I do that? Months ago. I've done too many videos. I can't keep track of what I've reviewed anymore. Like I just don't know. I've had so many, which is it's not a bad problem to have. Like I've had so many whiskeys that I've made videos about all of them. All right, roll back. That looks like it's too far. Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select. So I don't think the proof was as high, but it was good. That was 3 months ago. Oh my goodness. Glorious stuff. No banana that I could tell. All right, back to figuring out what we're doing here with this 101. I've never seen syrup as a nose profile note. Well, at least not recently. I have seen it. I've forgotten because memory is bad. But I get that. Smelling this one at least. And there's only 3 of them. It's just syrup and vanilla and cinnamon. There's official notes, thankfully. Ah, that's a whole different thing on the taste, on the palate, whatever you want to say. Taste of it. Yeah. God damn. That's good. I'm going to have to buy a bottle of the 101. Bitch. A little bit of citrus note. I want to say brown sugar because that seems like it's in there, as with many bourbons. It's something else, though. All right. What's it telling me here? Telling me the same things. Oh, molasses. That sounds right. Toffee syrup, caramel, molasses, and dried fruit. Yeah. I don't know about the dried fruit, but molasses is definitely one of those words I couldn't think of. It's on the taste. It's good. It's rich and very, very nice. I mean, again, we're reviewing something I like all of. I was expecting to like the 101. Surprise, surprise, I do. All right, let's have a sip and a smell of the cask strength now. First, I want to get the finish of the one I'm on. I'm going to do one at a time here. Stay on the 101. Finish profile, it says it's syrup, oak, cinnamon, and earthy. I don't know if it's earthy. Maybe a little. Yeah. The official overview. Sweet on the nose with dark, bold spices. Yes. Official taste. Rich and creamy with spicy fruit caramel. Well, that's what it said on the other thing, isn't it? An official finish, a mellow, creamy, and lingering mid-palate finish. Woo. Yeah, it's not even close. I didn't think it was. I knew it wasn't over 50%, but I couldn't remember what it was exactly. It's been a while, like I said. All right. Again, this is just an excuse to drink a lot of whiskey. I have a feeling a lot of other whiskey tubers do that too. They're like, I'm going to do a live stream. We're going to do a bunch of whiskeys and try them all at once. This is just the regular makers, by the way. Lovely. It's certainly been tamped down a little now that I've had a sip of the 101. The 101 just came in and was like, hi. Enjoy. That's good. Again, one of my favorite whiskeys right now is Wild Turkey 101. So the fact that makers decided to come out with the 101 is not surprising. They're just like, oh, people like high proofs, huh? Cool. We can do that. We're going to cap these again. There we go. All right, now to look into the cask strength. Because again, the whole thing with this channel is I'm not going to pretend I know anything. That's the whole thing. When I go into these whiskeys, I'm completely blind about what I know until I actually check. That's why I like having this little handy dandy app thing. God dang it. When it works, sometimes it doesn't. Ow. Ugh. Maker's cask strength. There we go. I think with only a little difference, there wouldn't be a whole bunch of change, but the proof of the cask strength says here it's 56.6%, but let me double check the email I got sent by JJ because he actually wrote down the actual thing. 54.9% for the cask strength he had. So different. They are slightly different. I don't even remember the one I had. It was probably about the same. And it's only a little higher, you know? I can really wonder what the price differences are. I'm all curious now. Because the one thing I remember about the Maker's Mark cask strength is that I couldn't find it at the place I usually get my liquor. I had to go, next door pretty much. There was a place less than a mile away that had it. And I think it was around $50. Well, I know the 101 that they have out now is around $40. So, again, what are you paying for is the question. Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Lovely. That one's a little more aggressive. And it's more oak forward, like it says here. Cinnamon is one of those things I found hard to do too, because I never did the cinnamon challenge, but I've been slightly terrified of cinnamon ever since. But I do have a very unpleasant memory of trying that Evan Williams Fire in a recent stream. That was not good. So I can get that as more of a tingly sensation. But when I think of cinnamon, it shouldn't be Fireball and, those fire flavored whiskeys. Those are almost disgustingly sweet and yet cinnamony. Not a happy thought. You're right. I don't know if it varies or not. It seems to. That's 30 where you are? Good grief. Where I am, it is not. Let me do the thing, as they say. If you know what the do the thing reference is. All right, Maker's Mark 101. 101. 101. Yeah, here it's $40. Limited release, they say. Well, that's probably how they do it. It's limited. I just type in Makers. I got a whole bunch of other stuff. What the heck? And they do have the 46, and that's $37. Or, well, $38 technically. $37.99. And the proof on that is 47, which isn't much higher than their other makers. So what? I know it's different. That's one of those things that's going to bother me. I would like to find the 101 around 30. That'd be nice. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Here we go. Back to the cast strength. Again, we have the very similar flavor profile and nosing profile for this. Just vanilla, caramel, brown sugar, oak, and cinnamon. Which is why I have such a hard time with bourbons. Other than being like really sweet, it's hard for me to pick out anything different. And as I've said before, you could say vanilla and caramel and brown sugar and oak and cinnamon for a lot of bourbons, and you wouldn't be wrong. My brain's already tired. It's like, what are you doing? Stop making me think about whiskey so much. Yeah. Maybe it's because it's more in this glass, but this one has more of the, I don't know if it's ethanol or alcohol-y smell, whatever you call it, but it's the lowest proof. That doesn't make sense. Ooh, caramel and vanilla. I like. Yeah, even the, well, no, on the app it says the average price paid is $4 for this Maker's cast strength. Dindwil, welcome. Dinwoody. I don't know how to say names. I'm bad at words. Let's be abundantly clear about that. Bad at words. Flavor profile of the cast strength. Caramel, cinnamon, it's the same thing. Pepper, oak, it says pepper. That's good. That's one I like to say a lot. Brown sugar, vanilla, and honey. And the finish, whoa, the finish on this is extensive notes. I'm no good with finishes. Oof. Oh, good. Yeah, again, not best with names. Hey, the one thing I don't want to do with people's names is say it wrong, because my last name has been said wrong forever. I'll have to try it. Like I said, it's on the list. I'll try it at some point. Finish profile for this cast strength is nuts. I mean, this is nothing that I figured out, but looking at the stuff I have here on the website, it says cigar boxes. Again, I don't know quite what that means since I don't smoke cigars. Leathery, which I can agree with. pepper, vanilla, wheat, oak, spicy, butterscotch, brown sugar, and cinnamon. That's a lot for the finish. Like the rest of it just was 4 or 5 things. Funny thing is, I want to say it is heavier than the other two, which makes sense because it is the highest proof, but it's also not as sweet. It's got similar notes, but they're, I don't know if I want to say darker or more developed maybe, but definitely less sweet, which I guess I kind of like in some bourbons. Like my mouth is all dried out from having the cask strength. Well, with the regular, I don't think that happens. It's regular makers. It's much lighter. It's almost floral now. And there's a little drying note at the end, but not as severe as the cask strength, not as crazy as the other one. I hear that. If you look at it really quick, that I looks like an L. I don't know why. Just science. All right, I'm going to add a little more of the Maker's Mark 101 and the Maker's Cask Strength because, 1, they're good, and 2, I want to give this a fair shake. I'm leaning heavily towards the Cask Strength already because that seems to be the one I like best at the moment. That's unsurprising to me because it's the highest proof. But it's always with the flavor profile stuff. It gets bonkers. Off. Well, there is a range for the cask strength. So it's from the barrel to the bottle at 108 to 114 proof. So there's variance. Which is good to know. It means you can find higher proof bottles. Yep. I'll go for the 101 again. Ooh. Yeah, it's definitely more cinnamon and spices when you keep it on your tongue for a minute. The proof shows up if you do that, to say the least. Oh. Yeah, it is reminding me more of Wild Turkey now when I did that. Got a little kick to it, which I like. And again, I did pour a little more in there, so maybe that's part of it. Now we'll go to the cask strength again. I got a weird song stuck in my head all of a sudden. Yeah, the cask strength has a little more grit, more of an attitude, where the 101's still friendly and a little sweet, but this is a lot more, as it said, I can get the cigar box and the leather and the pepperiness out of it much easier than I can the other two. It definitely has a little more heft, which I like, apparently. As I said, I did get a Maker's Mark cask strength once upon a time, but I think it was around $50. It sucked, but it was really good. I enjoyed it. I have to see if I can find another one. And hopefully the price hasn't gone up. That's the biggest problem, is prices going up and up and up. Well, that's been a thing this year, as many of us know. Don't like. $112, huh? Nice. I love the high proofs. Oh. Now I got to figure out which one I like the best. Again, I think I'm leaning heavy towards the cask strength, because also that seems to have the longest finish possible. Like I haven't sipped it in a minute, And I can still tell that's the last one I sipped. It's clingy and aggressive, which is good. I guess some people don't like that in the bourbon. Some people just like friendly bourbons. Like the regular Maker's Mark, which is this. Very sweet. Almost floral now. Almost. But it's still got, the vanilla and the cinnamon. Not so much caramel. I feel like caramel is one I should know really well, and I don't get it out of stuff. Oh, hey. Funny enough. Peppery. Funny enough, I can sort of feel the weededness out of the regular Makers now, after going back to it for some reason. I get it very strongly from Larceny. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the percentages, but for some reason, the Larceny comes out as a super weeded thing. Like I drink that and I know it's weeded, but with Maker's Mark, that's not a thing. It's a little spicy. That's it. Let me do some science. Keep forgetting it does that. Because now I'm curious about what the mash bill of these are. Percentage-wise, anyway. Red winter wheat, huh? So from the little quick search I did here in Wikipedia, it's telling me things. They don't use rye. It's weeder, but it's still a small amount. It's only 60%. Mostly corn, 70%, and malted barley, 14%. Is that right? I don't know. Is that what Wikipedia is telling me? Yes. Oof. So, what is Larceny's mash bill? And more wheat? If it's less, I'm going to be very confused. Da-da-da-da-da, Heaven Hill, wheated bourbon, Old Fitz. It is more wheat, but not a lot. What did I just say? 14%? 15%? Go back. 16% of red winter wheat. So that may be a different thing. I did hear that. I was telling JJ. Oh, he's not. Those are exclamation points. But yes, I did hear that. There's been talk about the Larceny Barrel Proof on the Whiskey Tube channels for months now, I think. Some people are raving it. Some people are like, it's meh. I've said I haven't had it. But I have had the Larceny over here. But this is just their small batch 92. And it's almost gone. But it doesn't smell as strong now, but sometimes when I drink it, like the taste of it is distinctly weeded to me for some reason. It's also pretty good proof, considering it's just 1% higher than the regular Makers, It's weird. It's 46%. All Makers itself is just 45. Yeah, the cast drink still has it. I mean, I certainly like the Makers, and the 101 is certainly interesting. But did he put it in last? I didn't get to that part. I watched some of it, but I forget where I had to do something. I probably had to make a video or something. So I didn't see what came in last or first. But I know he was doing a flight of that sort. And he did a lot of them. Did he do 6? Or was it 5? But I'm doing 3, and I'm still going, this is dangerous. Yeah, the 101 comes in a little spicy. Weirdly citrusy for me, somehow. I keep getting this weird orange thing, which I sometimes get out of bourbons, it seems. And we're talking orange zest, not like an actual orange or orange juice, if that makes any sense to anyone. Put a little more in, it's fine. No, I don't have to make a video later. I do have to make a video later, by the way. That's going to be a slight problem. Because I still haven't picked what I want to do. Part of me wants to do the final redbreast. Part of me just wants to do another scotch. Decisions. Horrible decision to have. I have too many whiskeys to choose from. Oh no, poor you. Sweet, mellow, delicious. Very similar. The funny thing is, I could almost, I don't know if I'd be able to tell the 101 from the regular makers. Just from the smell. The taste, maybe? I don't know. Try regular makers first. It's great. It's fine. It's lovely. There's a reason it's so popular. It still dries out my mouth at the end a little, which is good because that makes you, it dries out my tongue, I should say, not my mouth. It's a common thing, which I guess is a bourbon thing or a whiskey thing. But I always compare it to when my brother explained white wines to me, dry wines especially, where your whole tongue just goes, all the moisture is just gone. And that seems to happen with a lot of these, which I just equate to the oak tannin kind of deal, or a finish thing, which I still don't quite understand. Back to back like that. The 101 comes off as more wood forward or oaky, and the texture is different. Like it's a little, I want to say rounder. No, not really. So what do I want to say? I don't want to say syrupy either because that's not true. But if you get my meaning with that, the comparing the back to back, the regular makers compared to the 101, the 101 has a little more to it and clings differently. It's almost the texture of it's different. I'm trying to describe what it's like drinking, but having a hard time. I guess creamy is the good word. Something like that, where it's just the whole texture. It's still liquid, clearly, but it's definitely clingier and more creamy. I mean, it's just literally that kind of feeling when I drink them back to back, where the other one's more like drinking, I don't want to say juice, but the smell between them both is completely different. Sort of. Like this one smells like the 101 should smell in my head. Yeah, it's funny how the proof affects the texture. That's the weird part. So what's really funny is people doing flights like this and trying to make sense of everything. It's just the more you're going back and forth and drinking them and trying to compare, the more alcohol you're putting into your system, so it doesn't get easier. You're just kind of going, oh, I don't know why they don't taste the same now. I don't get it. palate blowout. I feel like that happens very easily for me. All right. Now let's compare just the Maker's cast strength to 101. Again, I swear they're... This is just the Maker's. Trying to find a good word to describe that. The smell, especially, funny enough, the 101 seems more muted to me. And the Maker's itself is a brighter sort of smell, if that makes sense. Using the word bright for a smell. That's weird. I don't know if I want to equate it to being less than class, but all right. Cast strength here. Oh yeah, this one's got chocolate notes to it now. Woof. Still alcohol. The smell of alcohol there. It's going with the 101 now. Not as bad. And no chocolate smell. I don't know why I'm not getting much out of that. It's weird. Or unexpected, we'll say. Weird's a bad word. Unexpected. Unanticipated. I didn't point the colors up to the screen this time, but they all pretty much look almost the same. Almost. That's the regular Maker's. This is the 101. Pretty similar to me. And this is the cast strength. This is one where I feel if I was given these blind, I would be totally clueless. It's part of why I do it like this, because I would like to know which is which. All right. Going to compare the 101 to the cast strength. Funny enough, that chocolate orange note comes up. And that might just be something that happens once I start drinking higher proof stuff back to back. Whoa. Yep. That's funny. It's surprising that the cast strength is so much more aggressive when it's not much further up the line than the 101 is. It's just spicier and it has a kick to it when I sip it, where the 101 seems a bit smoother and less aggressive. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the thing. We all know taste is subjective. So, but I would have to agree with you. I do seem to like the cast strength more than the 101, which is good. But that means I should, generally preference getting a bottle of cast strength. Now, although I was thinking of getting the 101. That's only because I know I can get that nearby. The cast strength, I'm not so sure. I might be able to get it. And then there's the cost. Like if I can find the cast strength for $50, but I can find the 101 for $40. What to do? I moved my mic, I didn't realize it. Well, this has been wonderful as far as just me drinking a lot of whiskey goes. Now let's do 1, 2, 3. We'll just do 1, 2, 3. See what happens. Lovely. That's the regular one. The one is a little spicier. Yeah, it's definitely making me think of baking spices now. I'm getting the dry finish at the end, as is common, I assume, with most bourbons. A lot of times I'm not thinking too much about my bourbons when I'm drinking them, but this is intense. Whew. Yes. Cat strength. Hello. I don't know why I have to like that sensation so much. The funny thing is, I wonder. I was thinking this with ryes, honestly, where ryes seem kind of like the Islay Scotch of bourbons, just because of how spiky they can be, I guess, and completely different from regular bourbons. Like, knowing these are wheaters, they are a little softer, certainly, but the higher proof they go, they get more aggressive and spiky, which I often don't seem to get with scotches. Oftentimes, scotches don't have that kind of to them. There are plenty of times where I wouldn't know, but with this cast strength one, I am well aware that it's the highest proof for some reason, and it's lovely. It makes you aware of every sip, which I think is important when you're drinking back-to-back whiskey, as I am doing right now. God dang it. Ugh. My sample bottles are uneven and it's annoying me. Close enough. But yeah, what we've learned today is that, yeah, I do like higher proof stuff. I certainly like Maker's Mark. I know a lot of people don't, but that's fine. That's just more for me in my mind. Lovely stuff. The question is, part of me is wondering what happens if you mix them all together. I don't know if I want to do that yet. That could be dangerous. And there's no easy way to do that. Ouch. I like a lot. But the question is, would I just go for the Makers in general? And Makers itself has a little history with me. It's one of the first whiskeys I used as a cocktail thing to get into whiskey in the first place. That was one of the ones I started with. So it's got a little special place for that, but also keep in mind that scotches and Islays and stuff were also prominent in getting me into the whiskey world at all and doing any of this. So that's fun. But Makers does have its little category as well, as does Bullet, funny enough. One of the first things I started drinking, other than Maker's Mark cocktail thing, was Manhattans. So I used a Bullet Rye, knowing nothing about whiskeys or bourbons or anything. But that went over pretty well, and I think I was making them wrong. I think I was using the wrong ingredient for one of them because they were stupidly sweet. I'm trying to remember what actually is a Manhattan made out of. My brains. Let's see. Like some kind of, vermouth. Red vermouth. Easy stuff. 2 ounces of rye. 3/4 an ounce sweet red vermouth. Dash of Angostura bitters and a maraschino cherry, which I didn't use, which I should have, because maraschino cherries are amazing. Lovely stuff. I think that does it for the tasting, at least. And I'm trying to, you know what I wanted to check? I want to make sure no one else is actually going live soon. I don't think anyone is. Because they haven't been for a while? No. Good. That gives me time to just hang out and chit chat if we want to. Because now I just have a lot of whiskey to drink. What people could help me with is trying to figure out what to pour for my video later this evening, because I think it's just between Compass Box and, was it Now Winnie? This is the fun part. You get to see us live in action. Me making decisions. Bad decisions. I mean, good decisions. I mean, bad decisions. I did Whistle Pig last night, so that was today. It seemed to do pretty good. I do have so many Irishes to finish, though. God dang it. Dang it to hell. I guess I should do a Compass Box. I think. It is bourbon night at 8. I don't have my shirt on, but I do have my glass. And that's what I actually do on Sundays as well, is once it's bourbon night starts, I go over there. The decision I'm trying to make is what I have to drink for the episode I have to do tonight. Because I made the horrible decision that I'm going to make a video the night before for every advent calendar thing that I've done. I've done that 13 nights in a row. You think I'd learn? I have not. It has been chaos. But it looks like the last Compass Box I did was 5 days ago. And the last Whistle Pig I did was today, which is done. I have no more Whistle Pig to try. Glorious stuff if you like ryes and if you have a hankering for black licorice. But I'm certainly running low on samples, which is not a good thing. Because once I run out of samples, I'm going to have to figure out what samples to get somewhere else. That'll be a problem. But now I'm just going to go back and forth and drink all these. Klein does go live at 9. He and Hot Buttery Rolls were having a time last night. I watched a little bit of it, but I was like, I need to do stuff. I have to do something for tomorrow. But they had some kind of bottle giveaway deal. And a few people won. Something I would like to do, except I don't have bottles to give away. Nor do I want to try to deal with that kind of chaos and money and randomizing and just, oh gosh, the thought of all of that is a little overwhelming. At best, the only thing I could do is dish out samples someday. And I even though, there are whiskeys here I don't like, so I'd be happy to give away. Or at least give samples to. I can't give any of these away because they're not opened. I think there's only a couple of bottles unopened. This is one of them, but that's the new one. That's mine. So I try it. Hopefully I'll like it. But I have a good amount of stuff. Still have what? Oh gosh, how many do I actually have? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 bottles in there that aren't opened. Most of those will probably go into next year for like weekly videos once that's a thing again. I'm still dumbfounded by the fact that I'm doing daily videos. Supposedly, if you do something more often, you get better at it. I'm questioning that rationale. It's just like, oh gosh. The funny part about being a content creator is no one sees you making the content. They just see the end result. If it's any good or not, hopefully it's good enough. There are certain things I've learned from Rex and Daniel is that you want to make content that is genuine. And I'm making content that is as genuine as I can get. Because it's not easy for me to do because of my own things. Oop. No rest for the wicked. But yeah, I get that feeling. Where I can't stay up that late. I'm already staying up till 2 a.m. in my time. 3 a.m. Not good. My sleeping schedule is, let's say, not great. And it's been that way for most of my life, as far as I can tell. I did have a job for a while where I was getting up I had to be at work at 7:30 in the morning. That was unpleasant. I didn't like that. But I did it for 4 years at least, but there was a cost. My mental health did not improve because of that job. And eventually, I'm pretty sure I lost my job because of my mental health problems, which sucked. Because it was one of those situations where I finally got a medication, and the medication says on it, be careful when operating machinery. Guess who operated a very large machine at work? Take a wild guess. So yeah, layoffs. Woo. The only good thing is that that company is still running, but the factory I was working at is not there. It's shut down completely. Sucks for all the people who work there. That job also cost me part of my hearing this year. I think there are plenty of other people around my age who have had hearing problems, but I have the tinnitus. So there's like a constant ringing sound in this ear, even though there's no noise being made. That's cool. Right? I've thought about it. If nothing else, the good thing to do is get acquainted with people who work at the liquor store, especially the managers. It's not a bad way to get into it. I know the people from the nearby liquor store I go to, just because my brother used to work there once upon a time. I don't think the manager was all the same, but a lot of the employees are the same. It's always nice to see them. Ouch. But I'm not a big spender by any means. So, they're happy to see me. They also know I'm not going to blow a fortune. I think I bought one bottle there that was really expensive, and that was, I say really expensive. Anything over $100 is really expensive to me. But that was a red spot for $125, which was lovely. But again, for $125, no. It's good, but it's not $125 worth by any means in my little world of things. Samples are lovely. Hi. Yep, cast drink's lovely. I think we made it clear that, and this has happened before, where I realized very quickly that I seemed to like higher proofs. So there's a mild bit of concern. Do you like high proof whiskey? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I mean, I always get Wild Turkey 101, which is pretty high proof. And I do have other stuff like this. As I've said many times in my videos, my first donated bottle was 62. 62.5%, 1792 full proof. It's a beast of a bourbon. And I also called it creme brulee in a glass because that's pretty much what it is. Very sweet for what that proof is. Oh, man. I was wondering about that when I looked at the price of the Red Rose 21. Whew. Yes, cast strength for the win. Definitely. I still have to find where I can get that nearby. I'm pretty sure I got it at a store that's close by. But as with everything this year, as we touch on in the Whizzky Musings live stream, is that things are not quite normal right now. And you can't just go meander around a liquor store as we used to. I would actually, last year, I'd go to liquor stores and take pictures of prices just so I had a general idea of what's what. Anything I saw that was interesting, anything that was a high price. I mean, I went to Total Wine tonight to get this, or this afternoon, I suppose. And they had so much whiskey there. I was a little overwhelmed, but it was also a busy store, which I did not like. Like, I don't like busy stores in general, but now in 2020, I was out of there. So I went in, grabbed the bottle, looked around a little bit, and was like, no, I'm good. I don't want to try to find anything else. I got to leave. I only glanced at the expensive little glass case they have, which normally I would look at a bunch of stuff in there and take pictures, but not this time. Too many people, and all of those are ridiculously high prices anyway. Those are things for people who want to spend their money that they have. For me, it's just, oh, that looks nice. The prices are all wrong. And as I've said every time, if you would like to donate a bottle or donate funds, there's a link down below to the PayPal. Or the easiest thing to do is to contact me directly, and I can tell you the shop that I go to regularly that has, I'll see if I can do this. But there's a place called Cappy's in this area, which is kind of like Total Wine for this area. Otherwise, you're not going to find it. But the easiest thing to do as far as bottles go is see if they have it there. Posting the link in the chats. And then saying, KIllco or KIllco Brian is the easiest way to do it. But Brian specifically has to be on there. KIllco helps because then they know it's me. And that's the easiest way for me to get any kind of bottle from a person. Yeah, the olive oil store. I mean, that's the thing with me is getting samples is great. I love getting samples, but I know it's a task to do. And I know it's a lot to ask people to be like, hey, you can donate a bottle, but the safest and easiest way for both of us, as legally speaking, is going through a nearby distributor on my end. They don't have everything either. They have a good amount of stuff, and they've only just started getting Texas whiskeys in because I've had to nag them about it a little, but it's fine. They have a lot of good stuff, and they have, like we said, the 1792 is what I got from there, and it was glorious, and that was what, $45. So generous donation, to say the least. Ugh. But the best way to support the channel is through PayPal. And again, that's how I got this. Someone donated a very large amount of money for me to get this. Happy about it. I hope I like it. That's my main concern, is someone donated a substantial amount of money to me, and I went and got the bottle. I'm like, I hope I like this bottle. It's a Scotch, for one, and I have interesting feelings about Scotches, we'll say. Just, I always got that weird, the only word I can find is funky smell from Scotches. I don't know what it is. I swear it's a malt thing or a sherry cask thing or something. But I know with Irish whiskeys, I don't get that. Like Irish Redbreast specifically, I think is finished in sherry cask, I think. I'm not sure. But I don't get that kind of smell off anything other than Scotches. So, don't know. It's a bit of weird. Now, these all don't have caps on them anymore because I'm just trying to drink them at this point. Wow, the regular makers got real quiet. I'd get more out of the 101, but the one hole it did so is the cask strength as far as the smell of it after just having it sitting open for a bit. Lovely stuff, as I said. Whoa. There's that hint of wheat in it, but again, nothing like larceny. I don't know why. I guess just the higher percentage has a rather substantial difference, which is surprising to me. Whatever. Any more water? Ugh. Yep, I got my notification for It's Bourbon Night already. It's telling me an hour in advance, of course, so I don't mess up. As I say, drink more bourbon. One thing I am looking forward to is trying their bottle, which I was happy to get. I don't know when I'm going to do that. I have a feeling I'm going to wait until the 25th to open it. I'm also terrified about opening it because I know it's Knob Creek wax. So that'll be fun. was exciting, we'll say. So exciting. I really want to pour the rest of this Maker's Mark Half Strength and Maker's Mark 101, but I know that's a terrible idea right now, especially when I have stuff to do. I did pour all of this one, though. That's good enough. What we will do, we'll do one more go with just smelling them. Again, I'd have a hard time picking these apart. Other than this Maker's Mark being fainter or softer or whatever we want to say, but the 101 isn't giving me much at all now, as far as the smell goes. But I also have to keep in mind I've probably blown up my not great palate at this point. And yeah, the Calf Strength definitely is still the front runner in the smell at this point. But let's do the crazy thing. Just mix them all together, shall we? Oop. It's for science, as they say. Oh, gosh. Okay, that's not too bad. Jeez. That. I want to get all of it. All right. I might. I mean, the only reason I don't do reviews of samples is because they're samples. There's no, what's the word? There's no marketing credibility, I suppose. Because I could say, you know, it's anything. Like I could fill this up with, I could fill up this, you know, this empty Maker's Mark with something, you know, almost anything here, since it's already cracked open and everything. And then say it's Maker's Mark, which would be a lie, which I wouldn't do, but you don't want that kind of negativity and giving people that option to be like, hey, how do I know that's what that actually is? It's like, well, I don't even know what that actually is. I'm taking someone else's word for it who donated to the channel, who I assume is an awesome person because they donated whiskey to me. Why would they donate something that isn't what it is? This is the mixture right now. It's turned pretty amber, almost. That's a decent pour for that matter. Doesn't smell bad, which is good. Ooh. Oh, that's actually very nice. It's tampered down the abrasiveness of the Calf Strength. Funny enough, the low makers kind of took over. It's still pretty spicy. Still doing that cinnamonish, tingly thing to my tongue. But as far as that kick from the alcohol, it's not there now. That could just be the fact that I've been drinking for over an hour very quickly, going ding, 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 which is dangerous. All right, let's finish up. I say finish, but we still have like 45 minutes almost. Let me see. All right. I will show the options for tomorrow. You guys can help me decide because I'm not good at making decisions right now. These are all going to be scotches, which will probably throw people off who just like bourbons. They're up there in age, strangely enough, except for the Compass box, which has no age statement. So for the next 2 days, the samples are going to be, this is the fancy box, by the way. We have this one, which Roy from Aquavita was talking about not long ago. This is a nice smelling box. But it smells like cardboard, but fancy cardboard. Yeah, this is the Spice Tree. Roy from Aquavita was talking about, I think during his last stream on Thursday. The Spice Tree was something that caught his attention as far as a blend goes, and Compass Box, as far as blending goes, are very good at what they do, unlike some other ones. But that is the one I'm leaning towards pretty heavily at the moment, just because of Roy and his influence on that. Then we have the Glenlivet 14, which is Cognac Cask Select single malt Scotch whiskey. And this is the one that's hard to find the percentage on. Where is it? Is that it? No. Is that it? It's 40%. And then we have the Balvenie. The Balvenie Double Wood, 17 years old. I have a feeling I'm going to get some serious funk off that one. So we have a blend and 2 malts, I think. One's 14 years old, one's 17 years old. One is finished in cognac, and the other is finished in, what this says, double wood. 2 distinct casks. Which distinct casks? Is it bourbons and something else? Again, oh God. There's print on here, but I can't read it. You see that? Of course you don't. It's hard to read. But under the 17, that tiny print, I want to read what that says, but I can't. Maybe it's on the box. Nope. Oh, wait, here we go. That's tasting notes. Don't show me that. 2 distinct casks also. That's 43% for the double wood 17 year. So there we go. Those are our options. What am I going to do? I don't know. I just know it's going to be a Scotch probably. And that's after drinking this high proof bourbon flight, which is a mild problem. What is the Spice Tree is the one I'm looking forward to, but it's also the one I want to go in with a clean palate as far as doing anything goes. Looks like it's 46 and 43. The funny part is this doesn't say on the, oh wait, it does. So this is the 46%. So that's the highest proof out of all these 3, which I'm looking forward to. Oh no, wait, there were 2 46s. Never mind. Glorious stuff. Wonderful Scotch. Part of me is tempted just to do this one too, because I wanted to. But I don't know if that's good for a Monday review, especially a whole bottle. Although I was doing that week to week, on and off for a while. We'll see. I'll put these aside. And then, of course, there's this one, which is just the Redbreast 15, which is half gone. But we already know how I feel about it because of the stream I did on Friday, which was another flight, I might add, which was bonkers. Because even if those weren't high proofs, they were getting to me very quickly. And that's where I got to try the Redbreast 21, which is also one. I almost want to review it, but again, it's a sample bottle, so I don't have any credibility as far as saying, here's the bottle, this is what I poured it out of. I don't think anyone would do that, really. That seems like a bad idea, but you never know. And like I said, with samples, it's just, there's a certain level of trust, which I certainly got for JJ, because when I poured the 101 in the cask strength, they smelled very similar to the regular makers. So it is what it is, as they say. I'm letting this concoction we've made mix together here. It's spicier too. I like. The other problem with making content is you quickly are unaware of the fact that I have to go through a lot of glassware. Like just for this night, I'm doing 4 glasses. We have these 3, and then we have whatever I happen to pick up later on and decide to do. I think I'm looking at my own content here. We have lots of Irish. I did the Balvenie 2 days ago, technically. So that leaves the Glenlivet, which I did a review of one of them 6 days ago. And I think I did the Spaniard 5 days ago. So I guess that leads me to the Glenlivet, which is the 17 year, which hopefully is just as good as the. What was the last one I did? I forgot already. I really like the Caribbean cask. The 12 double oak was pretty good, but I think it was the one I did. It was a Balvenie Caribbean cask. That was something that caught my attention. And I was thoroughly enjoying that. But I also did find I liked the Glenlivet Caribbean cask as well, which is strange because as I've said in many of these videos, I don't particularly like rum. I've had a rum, and it was the Kraken, and for some reason that got a decent amount of views, which I don't understand. I will never understand the algorithm. That much is certain. It's technically a whiskey review channel, but if I review anything different, suddenly that gets more views. Like the, what is it? Oh, my brain. I can't remember this word. I've had to think of this word numerous times, and I just blank out every time. Where is it? Absinthe. I don't know why I can't remember the word absinthe, but I did an absinthe review, and that has the most views ever on this channel so far. Why? I have no idea. It's not an absinthe review channel, and all I can say is that I have a feeling most absinthe taste like black licorice. So yeah, not great, but not terrible. And if you don't like black licorice, I mean, ugh, probably not gonna like it. Well, I'm gonna go for about 8 more minutes because that'll give us an hour and a half. And I was surprised that I was able to do the comparison as quickly as I did. Granted, I know and feel that I did the comparison as quickly as I did because I got a little buzz going on here. My brain is thinking, what did you do? How did you do that so fast? Well, you didn't go back and forth between whiskeys. We'll do that. The blend is actually quite nice, though. Yeah, that's the thing with absinthe. Is it's a very high proof, and if you drink it like you're supposed to, with it mostly being water, you won't even realize that you drank that much alcohol because it doesn't taste like it. It tastes black licorice-y, but it doesn't have that punch if it's watered down as much as it is. And it's if you do the sugar cube and everything, you have no idea. Suddenly you're just kind of like, oh, wow, what's going on, guys? How's things? You know, not good. Not bad, but not good. I would definitely like to try more absinthe because I know there are different types. But some of them kind of scare me when they're, blue and red colored. But I still have a heck of a lot of that bottle right there. I may have some absinthe later tonight. I don't know. I could re-review it. Yes. It's like black licorice candy to me, and it will knock you on your ass if you drink more than one very quickly. It is a very high proof thing. I think it's 65. Hold on. Let's science it. Oh, science. This shows you how much I drank. Right there. This bottle is 62%, 124 proof. That's a lot. However, I do like it if it's drank the way that it is meant to be drank, supposedly, with the sugar cube and water. Lots of water, by the way. Otherwise, it's as high a proof as this 7092, pretty much, which is powerful, potent stuff. Ah. I have to say the blend of these three together is actually very pleasant. Kind of, I don't want to say too sweet, but it's up there. It's kind of reminding me of this thing now. Maybe that's just because I've been drinking these things for so long tonight, where it's just palate is fatigued, to say the least. I do know I'm probably going to have to cool it off for its bourbon night, because drinking more right now is not the best idea. I'll probably finish this, and that's it for the evening until I decide to sober up a little and pick out, which I'm going to do here. Probably going to do the Balvenie 17. I'll have to look up a little about it, but it's only a little. Try to figure out what the double wood is. I think it's just bourbon casks and something else, but I don't remember. Wonderful stuff. But from what others have told me about Balvenie, it's kind of this quintessential Scotch thing, while Compass Box is a whole other animal because of its blending capability. And they are very good at blends, I have to say. So far, I have not had a Compass Box product I do not like to some extent. I haven't had a lot of them. I've had only a few samples here, and I know I had a few at last year when I was fortunate enough to go to Irene Tan's store, and she had a whole bunch of people tasting whiskey. Oh, the times when we could be in public places with a crowd drinking lots of whiskey. Those were the days we all took for granted, it seems. But that's okay. Those days will come back eventually. This is just a moment in time, as we say, and it's been a pretty weird one, let's be clear. I certainly didn't go into this year with the same kind of crap. I went into this year thinking I was going to get a new job and make some money, and no, that didn't happen. I feel nothing but sympathy for anyone working in retail and foods and such right now, because I go out in public for a little bit, and the type of feeling I had in general just to go out in public in the normal world was bad, and now it's like this, and I have a feeling everyone has a sensation of what social anxiety feels like when you have to be a certain distance away from people, everyone's wearing a mask, and you're not really supposed to go anywhere. So sorry for that. I guess it's extremely unpleasant to feel that way, but I know we'll get through it. It's just 2020 has not been a good year to try to recover mentally, and as much as I wanted to, I haven't. But I've also been glad that I have the whiskey community as it is, giving me samples and stuff and donating bottles. I mean, that's all confuses me every time it happens, but I'm glad it does, because small YouTuber, but awesome to have people who want to be involved. And certainly helping financially is a great thing for me, because, as I said, don't have a job. Would like to have one, might get one eventually, but it's terrifying to be out in public eye right now. And most of us would feel better working at home, I think. And this is about as working from home as I can get. So there you go. That's why I'm doing it. That's why I still have to do one video later this evening. Mostly because I started doing advent calendars, so trying to end this year doing all of them for once, because I don't know if I've ever finished a year doing all of them. But well, they are out there for anyone to see. All right, we're coming up on the hour and a half mark, and I think that's going to do it for me, because I need to probably have some more food and sober up a little before its bourbon night starts. As always, thank you for joining me, and live long and prosper. Don't forget to be awesome. And sláinte to all of you who joined me. Bam. That's good stuff.